Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be one of my very first learning videos on my channel, or I guess the very first, since my first one was just an introduction. But this video is going to be a highly requested one from my DMs that I get on my Witchy Tips Instagram, and is what is the difference between Wicca versus witchcraft. I get a lot of comments on my posts on Instagram saying like, what's the difference? Are you Wiccan? Are you witchcraft? Which doesn't make sense. So in this video I'll explain the difference between Wicca versus witchcraft. So to begin, Wicca is a nature-based belief system. Some people call it a religion, some people call it a spiritual path. It's really up to them. A religion kind of sounds harsh for the Wicca path, but it's still considered a religion in my opinion. And it arose in the early 20th century, I would say around the 1950s, 40s, I believe around there. I'm gonna do a whole Wiccan 101 and I'll learn a lot more for you guys if you want to know, because myself, I'm not Wiccan, so I don't know the full background history, all that, but I know quite a bit about it. Wicca is a very peaceful, harmonious, balanced religion and way of life due to contrary belief from people who have kind of contorted and changed the image of witchcraft and Wicca to something evil and bad. It really promotes oneness with the divine and in all which exists, such as nature, animals, spirit, all of that. It worships Mother Goddess and the Horned God. So there's tons of different gods and goddesses in the Wicca religion, and it is a balanced way of life because it worships a god and a goddess, which is normally in Christian religions, it just has a god. Wiccans celebrate the Wheel of the Year, which is an annual cycle of 8 Sabbats. So it's a cycle of your seasons, basically. So there's 4 cross-quarter days and 4 quarter days. The 4 quarter days are your solstices and equinoxes, so like the first day of summer, winter, fall, spring. And the other 4 are midpoints and cross-quarter days to those seasons. I won't get real in depth on the Wheel of the Year because it is a video I'm planning on making of an 8-part series of all the Sabbats, so how you can celebrate, what they are, their history, and all that kind of the holidays of the witches. The Wiccan religion has a code of conduct to say, kind of like Christianity has the Bible, but basically it is a key moral system to what the Wicca religion is. And this code of conduct, so to say, is called the Wiccan Rede. The Wiccan Rede is basically just a very long kind of story statement that's about, the original is about 40 to 50 lines. So it's a very long one, but it's been shortened down into 2 versions. There's the original, which is, like I said, the 40 to 50 lines, but then there is the shortened version, which they take the main points out of the big one and put it into about an 8-lined poem slash statement kind of story. So I'll quickly read the shortened version for you guys of the Wiccan Rede. So I just have it up on my phone because I'm not Wiccan, I don't have it memorized. For the most part, I kind of already know it just from being in the pagan kind of community, but you can find it anywhere. Words might slightly change off, but this is basically the key 8-line short version. Bid the Wiccan law ye must, in perfect love and perfect trust. 8 words the Wiccan Rede fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will. What ye send forth comes back to thee, so ever mind the law of 3. Follow this with mind and heart, marry ye meet, and marry ye part. Now that's just the quick 8-line overview of the Wiccan Rede. Like I said, if you want to read the 40 to 50 line one, it's a very long one to read. But if you're Wiccan, then it's not that long at all for you to just kind of glimpse over it. Like I said earlier, I'll do a whole Wiccan 101 video if you guys want. You can always comment below. I don't know how many watching are just interested in the witchcraft aspect, or if you are Wiccan, or if you're pagan and you just want to learn more about Wicca, I can do a Wicca 101 video, and I don't mind explaining the Wiccan Rede in that and more of the history of it. So that was my kind of input for the Wicca religion. It's not a lot, but I just wanted to explain quickly in a video what it was. Now on to witchcraft. Witchcraft is a practice, not a religion, that witches have been doing since the dawn of time. Witchcraft in ancient history and to this day is known as the craft of the wise. This is because many of the people who practiced witchcraft back in the day, mainly women, were healers. They knew lots about herbs, lots about oils, lots about crystals and ancient medicines. So they're very wise women and men. Not a lot of men, but you can still consider men in that category. But they're very wise, knowing how to heal people, and they're mainly usually the healers of the village or the doctors of the village. Witchcraft is used to strengthen and enhance your knowledge and intuition, as well as help you focus and keep you concentrated. You use witchcraft to get what you want, what you need, what you desire in life. If you need help with something, you can also even use divination to help you see into the future. Slowly over time, starting in about the 1600s, witchcraft started to become more taboo and coined as evil. There's many points in history back in the 1600s, starting about around their 1600s. There was many people, mainly women, but there was men included, that were accused of witchcraft and killed for it. And this was all purely just because of accusation, whether a mom blamed their daughter that they practiced witchcraft, whether a daughter blamed her mother for practicing witchcraft. They're all accusations. They never actually had proof or seen people doing this. One of the most infamous witch hunts would have been the Salem witch trials. So in witchcraft, witches either practice as solitaries, witches meaning they practice by themselves, like myself. In their room they practice by themselves, or they can be in a group, which is called a coven, meaning they practice with 3 or more people usually, so they practice their magical workings together. Most people on my Witchy Tips Instagram, I believe, are solitary witches. I don't get many people coming to my DMs that are in a coven. Most witches, I would claim even all witches, have altars or spots that they work their magical workings in. Rituals, meditations, energy work. They have a spot, which we would coin as an altar, that they have all their tools, their magical workings, they go to it to have all their energy on this one spot, and where they feel comfortable. If you don't have an altar or you don't know anything about an altar, don't worry anything about that. One of my very first videos I'll be making as well are how to set up an altar, what they are, how they're used, the tools, the everything like that, and what you should be using, what you shouldn't be using, what you need, and what you don't need. Witches use the cycle of nature, the lunar cycle, nature itself, spirit work, energy work, just to work with their craft, enhance it, and make it better. So days of the week, there's certain days that you should be doing spell work. Certain moon phases, you should be doing certain spell work. It all coincides with just nature and the environment in general. There are plenty of witches following different religious paths, different cultures, different types of witches coming from everywhere around the world, male, female, LGBT+. We don't discriminate on Witchy Tips at all. There's just everybody following different paths. I don't even think there's one person that is following the exact same path. There is definitely not just one path to follow. That's the one thing, if you get out of this video, there's not one specific thing to follow. There are millions of different ways to go, whether you be working with crystals, nature, there's a million different tree branches off that you can kind of learn and acknowledge and kind of figure out your way. It's a whole learning experience, and honestly, you do what's right, you do what feels right for you, what works the best with you. Down into kind of 2 parts, if you get anything from this video. Witchcraft is the practice of magic. It's not a pathway. You can't be witchcraft. It's simply just a craft that you practice, you skill to use as a skill to make yourself better at, and you use it in your life. Whereas Wicca is a spiritual path, it's a religion, it's a belief system. So to sum this up, for beginners, I hope that really helped to distinguish the two, Wicca versus witchcraft. They're not the same, they're 2 different things. Like witchcraft is a thing to practice, to skill upon. Wicca is a path, a religion you can follow. So I hope you guys liked this video. Subscribe to my channel to see the next videos coming. Like I said, they're going to be for beginners. At the beginning of my channels, all my videos are going to be probably for beginners. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below if you like this video, and I hope you subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next video. Bless be witches.